Hello, my name is Jodi Bowersox, and I write adult fiction and children's picture books. Today I'm going to tell you about my award-winning book, Red Rabbit on the Run. So far, it's won the Colorado Authors League's award for the mystery category, and it's won the Colorado Book Award mystery category. It is also a finalist in SEPA's Evie Awards for mystery, and it's a finalist in the Killer Nashville Silver Falchion Award for mystery. So it's been a really good year for Red Rabbit on the Run. This is the third in my Anonymous series, which is a suspense series, some of which are mysteries, some of which are thrillers. It starts with Cinnamon Girl Explains It All, and book 2 is The Diamond Diva Vendetta. Red Rabbit is number 3 in the series, and number 4 came out this summer, The Blue-Eyed Devil. Red Rabbit on the Run is about a girl who has been kidnapped and trafficked in Brazil. She spent some time in a brothel and then has been rescued and taken back to her hometown of Denver. But she's got a few issues that makes that difficult to get her home. One is that she has schizophrenia, and so she doesn't trust anyone, even on top of the trauma she's been through. So she has, the section I'm going to read to you is where we see her perspective for the first time, which may or may not be on track, as she has given her rescuers the slip before they've been able to get her home. Tiffany closed her eyes against the onslaught of thoughts swirling like a tornado in her brain as her hand slid over a strand of hair. The feel of it grounded her, even though she recognized that the gesture she couldn't seem to stop meant she wasn't as well as she was before. She had thought she only imagined the demon horse with glowing red eyes at the airport, since it looked like so many of the demon creatures that had haunted her in the past. But there was no mistaking the mountain view she had seen out the window this morning. She was really and truly in Denver. She was home. The nightmare of the jungle was over. She had vague memories of the in-between, men and women in white, being tied down, the bearded man and the blonde woman who had brought her here. She'd been tripping hard for days, so most of that was like a fever dream that had frightened even her, and she wasn't frightened by much anymore. Still, she didn't feel normal. The noise of the bus was clawing into her head, but she was much improved over before. She really didn't know how much time had passed since she'd been carried out of that vile cabin in the Amazon. She did remember that, waking for a moment or two in the arms of someone strong, a red dragon. Whispered words she couldn't recall, words that had struck her as kind. So why did you run from them? God, you do the stupidest things. The voices that had been nearly eliminated before she had awakened in a Brazilian hell had been her almost constant companion, without the meds whose job it was to hush them to a whisper. She knew it would do no good to answer the voices. They never listened to her. But she did know why she was running from those who had helped her. Aaron McCain had spoken with kind and beautiful words. Justin Miranda had too. Kind words were often a trap. Who's to say that those two weren't taking her from one hell to another? There was another reason she had to get away. They were going to take her home. And even though a few things were still mixed up in her mind, she knew that home was not somewhere she wanted to go. She loved her parents, but no one there believed her about what she discovered before she was kidnapped. No one there took her seriously. They just gave her a pitying smile and asked if she was taking her meds. They always asked if she was taking her goddamn meds like she was a child. Yes, she had issues, but she wasn't a child. And even though the embezzling scheme she'd stumbled upon at her family's business sounded paranoid, she knew she wasn't being paranoid. It was real. The numbers proved it, and she'd kept them through it all. I know what you've been doing. She heard her own words echoing in her head, words she'd spoken to Chase Owens. How long ago had it been? She didn't even really know. She put her hands to her ears as the laughter rang through her brain like a great clanging gong, and she strove to focus on remembering the details of that night. She might have to testify about their conversation. Tiff, this is the second time you've been caught messing around with company computers. You have to stop. She hadn't bothered answering him. She had needed just a few more seconds for the files to download on her memory stick. What do you think you're doing, anyway? She had looked up then. She remembered how the security lighting had given him an eerie glow, although his face had been mostly in shadow. I'm gathering evidence, she had told him. The laughter started in her head again. Blowing out a breath, she recited the numbers and fingered her hair until the noise eased. Tiffany knew Owens was dangerous, even if her parents couldn't see it, and she was determined to show everyone who and what he was. Forcing her hands to her lap and a smile to her lips, she turned to the guy across the aisle engrossed in his phone and asked if she could borrow it for just a minute or two. I know that you will enjoy Red Rabbit on the Run. You can find all my books on Amazon or my website, JodiBowersox.com.